And recording. When you are ready.
Okay. What are we doing? All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 9 of Did Y'all Know? I'm Wes.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Dan.
And did y'all know that in Switzerland, it's illegal to own just one guinea pig? Because guinea pigs are social animals, and it's considered cruel to only have one.
I actually did know that one.
What?
Yeah, I don't know where I learned it, but
Wow.
I think you're just saying that.
That's so sweet.
Did you guys ever have like a guinea pig or a hamster growing up?
Absolutely not.
No, but I was bitten by a hamster.
Let me tell you, we had this one named Gabby. I was like third, fourth grade, and we finally took Gabby to the vet because she was sick or something like that. And then we figured out Gabby actually had a male part on her.
Oh.
It was a dude. It was a dude
I thought
hamster.
you were going to say that she was a rat.
No, it was not a rat. It was a hamster.
Brought her to the vet and found out she was a dog.
Yeah, so then we just figured that she was like a gay hamster at that point.
So with that classic story of gender confusion, let's start the intro music. All right, and I'm sure you just enjoyed that intro music just like every week. It is 100% authentic to us.
It bops.
It does.
Yeah. It was made for us.
Made for us.
By my good buddy, Christopher Garcia.
Literally made for us.
And if you're listening, I hate you.
Stop.
Sorry.
All right, and
All
Sam has the big topic today, and let me tell you, he is beaming with confidence over there.
No, well, since did all my research in the last 45 minutes, let's hope it goes well. But,
He does it just like high school, just last minute.
Last minute. I'm a big procrastinator, but I'm an entertainer, so it's gonna be good.
I put like 10 hours into this podcast every day on the outside of the actual podcast.
Well,
I expect you to put like 3 or 4 hours into the story.
It's hard being the talent.
That's the job of the producer.
It being hard?
It is. It is.
Okay, boys.
Fighting off those 7 fans that we have.
Yeah, right. Today we're going to talk about what I think is a very interesting topic. We're going to talk about special stories about military tactics.
Special stories about military tactics.
We're going to talk about some decisions that military generals made in the past. We're talking antiquity and modern times that swayed the throes of battle. If that sounds
Did
about
they
right.
always sway them, or am I jumping
Kind of.
ahead?
No, they kind of did, but they changed. If anything, one of these stories, in a way, really rewrote history. So it's gonna be good. So
wait, real quick. How did you even think of like wanting to do like this?
Well, you know,
that's why we're the talent and you're the producer.
That's
okay,
right.
all right.
And if you really want to know, it came to me in a dream. So I'm gonna start off with talking about a very famous book that was written by Sun Tzu, and it's a book called The Art of War. Okay. And you may have heard of it. I'm sure you all heard of it.
I have.
But this is a book that was, I guess, published. Call it published, not really, but I mean, centuries ago, in in China during dynasties, like Ming and whatnot, so like that. And this is a book that military tacticians, can refer to when making choices in battle that would give them the edge and whatnot.
They still use
Still. So at this point in time, this book is still a highly regarded book when it comes to not only military tactics, but even how to run a business. It's a book that even, CEOs and stuff like to read because I think that gives them the edge over the competition.
Okay.
It doesn't.
Maybe I should read this book.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey.
So
Go for it.
The interesting thing about this book, and actually I remember we had this book at my house, my parents' house, and I kind of read through it a little bit. It's just kind of interesting because you look at this book and it'll tell you real simple things, things that just make sense, like don't attack your enemy from across the river, right? Obviously, they didn't have guns back then.
Get
so
the high ground.
They didn't have artillery back then, so it's a
The
little different.
high
But
ground.
yeah, fight from the high ground. Fight from charging downhill, whatnot.
Because more speed.
But another thing that was really interesting that I remember seeing in there is that Sun Tzu says that you should purposely corner your own men in a battle.
What?
So you want to corner your own men and have your forces come in onto you where your men have no way to escape.
Right, because then nothing can get them from behind, though, right?
Well, that's one way to look at it, but the way Sun Tzu puts it is that if you throw your soldiers into positions whence there is no escape, they will prefer death to flight. If they will face death, there is nothing they may not achieve. So pretty much what he says is that if your only way through the enemy, or your only way out is through the enemy, then
You're going to find a way.
they'll take death over anything.
Nice.
So I don't know how
Until
that's
kinda
until
dark.
like the first group that did it, like they were just like, I would just surrender.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Now I don't know how that applies to getting your TPS reports done at the end of the day, but anyway, so let's talk about some military tactics. I gotta flip the page here. So let's talk about the Mongol invasion. Dan, who are the Mongols?
Oh man, I wish I knew. The Mongols. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they faced different Asian groups and tried to take over cities and pillage people.
Very general.
Sure.
Very
but
general.
true.
But they were
Very
led by
general.
who?
I'm forgetting his name, but
His name is Genghis Khan.
Genghis
Okay.
Khan. Okay,
And by land size, he's the greatest conqueror of all time.
nice.
He also killed a lot of people, and he
Not
also
so
had
nice.
a lot of children with a lot of women. A lot.
There's
another-
like that. There's like that stat, something that like
it's like 1 in 3 people have a little bit of Genghis Khan in them in
Something-
Eurasia or something like that.
yeah.
Another interesting thing about Genghis Khan, we don't know where he's buried. He was buried in an unmarked grave somewhere in Asia. So out there, Genghis Khan's body is there to excavate, but we don't know where he is. So that's kind of interesting.
You guys want to go find him?
Sure, let's do it.
We have to go to Asia.
So during the Mongol invasion, he's making his way west. During the siege of Kaffa, he thought that it would be a good idea to use catapults and trebuchets to throw and hurl dead bodies that were infected with the Black Plague to the besieged cities, hoping to
Spread
the disease and whatnot.
Biological warfare.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That's a very, very early instance of biological warfare. Most historians say now, though, that dead bodies can't give other people the plague. It's still rats, so they think that the rats in the sea still did it. But that was something that went through his mind. You know, that's pretty crazy. Also, one thing I want to talk about, sieging. Do you know what it means to siege a city?
Like to take over a city, to like
Kinda.
break down the walls.
Part of it is pretty much you just take your forces and you surround a city so they can't accept food, they can't accept trade, they can't accept anything. Pretty much starving the city out. Sieges can take months, months and months and months. And then when they're weak enough and they, people are dying off, they'll finally make their, push into the city.
Right.
Okay, moving forward, Napoleon Bonaparte. Fun fact, he wasn't actually that short.
Wait, what?
No.
I was about to say like the shortest guy to like.
No. That's a common
Is he
misconception.
not like 4'11"?
No, he was average height.
Yeah, he was average height for a European at the time.
Well, what's the average height?
It was like 5'7" or something, 5'7",
Something like that.
5'8".
Yeah, still small.
Average
Well,
for the time.
For the time.
Isn't that
We're
your
getting
height?
taller.
Aren't you like 5'7"?
I'm 5'10", dude. Don't listen to that. Anyway,
I'm
so
5'10" and 5'8".
So Napoleon, during his conquest, he was trying to capture an advantageous position for him and his armies, and it was right across a bridge. So the position was heavily fortified by enemies, and he didn't really see any way to get through there. So what he decided to do is took all his armies, or his troops, and he said, hey guys, just take a little stroll through the park. Just go down the bridge. We're going to just casually walk. We're not going to try to look like we're about to slay some people. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So they're just kind of walking, whistling, and whatnot. And when they got to their enemy, they said, hey, by the way, there's a peace treaty. War's over. We're just trying to get home. And they're like, all right,
okay.
sure. And then they started killing. So
Oh,
they pretty much,
bamboozled.
which to me, that's a cheap tactic.
It is
But
a very cheap tactic.
but all goes in war, right?
It's kind of like the way to get in any restricted area is just carry a clipboard.
and a hard hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Maybe a ladder.
So I always said
Step ladder.
just act like everybody always, if they want to get in somewhere, they try to like avoid the person at the door. No, if you walk up, just like, hey man, what's up? And just act like you're supposed to be walking in there.
It's
every
all about
time.
confidence.
Fun fact, I snuck into a fraternity party when I was in college once because the dress code was a Hawaiian shirt. And we were walking home, and my buddy had a Hawaiian shirt on. I said, get in there. It's going to be really fun. You'd be like a spy. And he said, no, I'm not going to do it. And I said, give me your shirt. And I did it. And I walked in. I said, hey, what's up, guys? What's going on? He goes, having fun? They're like, yeah, man, here's the beer. And threw me a beer. I was there for like 30 minutes.
Wow.
I felt so sneaky.
So sneaky snuck into a party.
Yeah. It was great. Well, it's not as cool as Napoleon conquering Europe, but whatever. Okay, so talking about war in general, have you ever heard of the scorched earth policy?
Yes.
No.
Go ahead, Wes.
It's like basically you go in and not only do you defeat them in battle, but you basically, where they live, you scorch the earth, you salt the lands and destroy, like make it uninhabitable to live there.
It's more apparent in retreating armies. So like, for example, like the Red Army, Soviet Red Army had retreated at one point in time. They started burning their own bridges, destroying their own roads, railroads, burning crops, so that it was more of an inhospitable place for invading armies.
With that, I recently saw that movie 1917. Have you guys seen that before?
I have.
Oh, yeah.
Like whenever, what was it? Maybe the Germans or something were retreating to like go to a different location. They destroyed pretty much their entire base. So then the guys walking in, there
all
was
the
like
guns
all
and
the
stuff,
guns were all broken, and they set like a booby trap within the hill itself or in the tunnel.
Right.
Yeah. So okay.
So
what
kind
is
of like
that? The dead forest, red forest. What's the scorched earth?
Scorched earth.
Okay.
That's right. Yes. Scorched
I
earth.
always think of salt in the earth.
Salt in the earth. So metal.
Salty earth.
Wow. So one particular instance of a good scorched earth that happened during World War I, the King of Belgium flooded his own lands, his own fertile farmlands, so he can keep the Germans from advancing into Belgium, trying to flank the French. So, that's pretty cool. I mean, they had to take big heart to do, you know what I mean? To pretty much destroy half your lands just to keep an army coming out. I get it. So
gotta do what you gotta do.
You get it?
I get it. I've done things like that myself.
I understand.
Okay,
I'm right there with you.
So continue to talk about World War One. So in France, this is in the obviously trench warfare. You've heard trench warfare, World War One. I mean, World War One was a bloody, diseased war. I mean, it was terrible.
Mess.
So an Australian general named General Monash had received orders to claim the town of L'Hamel. So he was trying to claim this town, and it was incredibly fortified by German troops, right? It seemed impossible to make their way in. We're talking, stationary machine guns and anti-tank weapons and whatnot. So he had a brilliant idea. For 2 weeks straight, every single morning, from their trenches, from the Australian trenches, he would he would send out smoke and mustard gas barrages. He would barrage the area in front of the city with smoke and gas. Well, the Germans, doing what they were trained to do, would put on their gas masks, right? And they were waiting for additional mustard gas to come in. They were thinking they were about to fight, right? But he didn't do anything. He didn't order his troops to move through or anything like that. He didn't advance. He did this for 2 weeks straight. Well, after 2 weeks, on the morning of July 4th, he sent out a barrage of smokes again, but instead, no mustard gas. But the Germans didn't know this. The Germans placed on their gas masks. But instead of using mustard gas, he started advancing his troops. So through the smoke, he started making his push, and all the Germans, thinking there was mustard gas, had their gas mask on.
And they would just fight with their
gas mask on. They were visually impaired.
Couldn't see
Yeah.
And they were auditorily impaired. And the battle only took 90 minutes to wipe everybody out and reclaim the city.
Wow. That is a great tactic.
Pretty
Well done.
Pretty good.
Pretty good
Pretty
from
good.
General
I thought you were going to
Monash.
say they were going to retreat.
No, they went balls to the wall. They went right for it. Went after it. Those
Nice.
Australians know what they're doing. Even during the Emu War, we'll talk about that later. So anyway, so moving on. Okay, I gotta turn the page.
Did you say
Going
the
back forward there.
Emu War?
Yeah,
He
the
said
Emu
I'll get
War.
to that later.
What?
Well, not today, but we'll talk about the Emu War. It's interesting.
We'll talk about it later. It's okay.
Um,
It's okay, Dan.
I just think of like someone riding an ostrich. I know that's not an emu, but like someone
yeah,
riding an ostrich.
why wouldn't you think
into
of him
war.
riding an emu?
How big is an emu? Is
Big.
it almost as big as an ostrich?
I would say it's probably 75%.
Okay.
We're talking 75% ostrich.
Interesting.
That's
I'll just
not
give you a
what I
big
meant at all.
rundown. Emus, there was an emu epidemic, I guess you could put it, and they were destroying crops in like central Australia. So I think I think this is right. The army was ordered to start killing emus
Planet
because
of
they were
the
destroying.
Emus?
Planet of the Emus.
Yeah, they were destroying everything.
What
So
an
we're like,
awful movie that
We're
would've
like,
been.
we have so many emus, let's take them out. So
Yeah.
start mowing down emus. So anyway, so moving forward, 1980. What big war happened in 1980?
Cold War.
Cold War, wrong. It was the Iraqi-Iranian War.
Well, the Cold War was going on, but
Yeah. No, it was the Iraqi-Iranian War. Anyway, okay. So the Iraqis were trying to move in on a position on the Iranians. I don't know what the reason for this war was. I don't know much about it. But all I know is that this position that they were trying to take up, there was a lot of troops, but there was lagoons and swamps just right in front of this area, this advantageous position that the Iraqis were trying to take over. And every night, the Iranians would take their boats, fan boats, or whatever. They would take their boats out on the lagoon and do nightly patrols.
Okay.
So what the Iraqis did is they took huge generators, electrical generators, and lined the entire lagoon with electrical wire.
Ooh.
So what they would do is they would line the entire lagoon with electrical wire. When they were coming in for their nightly patrols, they would fire just enough artillery at them to get them out of their boats.
Oh.
When they get out of the boats,
Electric.
they flipped a switch and killed hundreds of Iranians
Wow.
in seconds.
Wow.
And that wasn't just one time. They did this dozens of times.
Wait, they didn't learn
And they
from the
just
first time?
couldn't figure it out.
they
They
didn't
just-
know what was happening when they got out of
well,
the.
I guess they really didn't understand why everyone was dying. They were like, "Oh, there was maybe the artillery was killing them. Maybe let's take a different route. We'll get off here or something like
bunch
that.
of dummies.
Try flanking them." It was crazy. They killed tons and tons and tons of people
Interesting.
with the power of Zeus.
Or a generator.
Or a generator.
Okay, so moving on to my big point that I want to talk about. So I want to talk about a man named Major William Martin.
Major William Martin.
Major William Martin. He
Okay.
was part of the Royal Marines, the British Army. This is World War II, by the way. Major William Martin he washed up ashore in southern France, dead. And in his pocket, he had a note stating to the rest of his allies that the Allies will be invading Greece and that we are calling off the invasion of Sicily. Okay?
If he washed up, how'd the note not just get like totally smudged?
I don't know. But anyway, so he washed up ashore. He had confidential intelligence.
He wasn't there, Dan.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just saying, any single time that I've gone in the water with a piece of paper, it's
With
got
your
smudged.
notebook?
With my notebook, always gets smudged.
Always get smudged. So, yeah, Major William Martin, Royal Marines, a British officer, had this important intelligence on him that was picked up in Spain and was actually routed right to Hitler's desk.
I
Okay?
guess they had typewriters back then. He could have probably typed it out.
Oh, maybe.
Possibly.
Probably. Okay.
He's hung up on it. He doesn't
Yeah.
understand.
I just don't understand.
So Hitler taking this as like, oh, wow, what a stroke of luck. This British officer here telling us we're going to Greece. He starts mobilizing his troops from Sicily with fortified positions back to Greece. Bring his U-boats, whatever he has, bringing everything to Greece because he's expecting an attack from the Allies. Well, as you could probably already tell, this was
a
all
fake
a
note.
ploy.
Ooh.
So this was a ploy. Matter of fact, there is no Major William Martin. It was a homeless man, and this is Operation Mincemeat. So Operation Mincemeat was a plan that was devised by the Royal Army, by the British, by the Allies, to obviously try to thwart the defenses in Sicily as they make their push in. And what they did is they found a random homeless man.
Was he already dead?
He was dead. He actually died from eating rat poison. I don't know the
what
story
they-
behind that.
That's what
That's
they
what they
want
say.
you to think.
Right. But they took his body, they dressed him up as a British officer, and they washed him up on shore of
Gave him a
Spain.
clean shave, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. So
That is if he could grow a beard. Not all of us can grow beards.
You have facial hair. Looks.
I can't like fully grow it though.
Looks
I mean, so
really good.
I mean, they wouldn't have to clean me up that much.
Mincemeat.
So mincemeat. So anyway, so after this, after all this mobilized his army, Allies made their invasion of Sicily, and it was a success. Right? It was a complete success. after it all, the British Army didn't want to mention who the guy's name was. All they wanted to say about this homeless man was that he was a bit of a ne'er-do-well, that the only worthwhile thing that he ever did, he did after his death.
Did he get a Purple Heart?
Well, hold on. So
Ne'er-do-well.
Ne'er-do-well, right?
No.
So an amateur historian in 1996 revealed that the name of this homeless man, whose name is Glenweir Michael. Okay? Glenweir Michael. And Glenweir Michael actually is now currently buried in Huelva, Spain, where he washed up ashore. And his tombstone reads, Glenweir Michael served as Major William Martin, a Royal Marine. So his tombstone, even though he had no idea that he just changed the tides of war,
Sure.
he's now buried where he washed up, and he's an honorary Royal Marine now.
That's pretty
Wow.
cool.
So
Under
Do you
another
know-
name, though.
under another name.
Do you know if he had like family or anything like that?
I don't know that. I don't know that. But some say that this Operation Mincemeat was one of the most not divisive, but one of the biggest changes the tide of war. You know, one of the biggest sort of plots that's ever happened that changed the direction of
I
a
wonder what
major
that
war.
actual like letter said. I wonder if it was like super official or if it was like,
It was like,
it's
hey,
like,
hey Gary,
guys, guess what? We're not going to Sicily anymore. We're going to Greece.
LOL.
Yeah.
hey, we're going to Greece. I'm staying at my uncle's house.
Yeah, like how was it just like some scribbles or was it like actual like War Department letterhead, and everything like that? And like you would think that they'd just be like the Nazis and Hitler would be just a little suspicious of it, right?
I don't know. How can you be sus of that?
I don't know.
I don't know, but either way, it totally worked out. It's actually kind of, you think about the D-Day, they used fake inflatable tanks to, I guess it was like across the English Channel or something like that. But
well, they put a lot of them on different areas of the coast, and like thinking like, they're going to be coming in from here. They're staging. They're getting ready. They're going to be coming in from the land. When in reality,
they were just balloons, big balloons.
Really?
And then that's how they were able to make their way on D-Day without too much defensive fortifications.
Would you stop coughing?
Okay.
Well, anyway, that is a short intro to some of the crazy military tactics some of these generals used to
There's more?
sway the battle. No, that's it.
Oh,
This is a short intro.
Short intro. You have to do the rest of the research.
Yeah. Now that your
yourself.
interest has been piqued, then go and do your research on your own.
no, that's pretty cool though. Like honestly, I didn't realize that there was very smart tactics out there that were used to change
It kind of makes
tides.
you think like, can those type of tactics be used in modern warfare now?
Well, I mean,
they would be changed up.
I think it would be a little bit different. You know what I
think
mean?
they would do like I don't know. Obviously, all communication and correspondence is done. A lot of it is done over the computer. You think they and people are trying to hack in. You think they would make like an easily hackable software and
They'll
just
send
like
you-
start
send
saying
you an email,
start
like-
saying stuff. Hey, we're going around this way. When in reality, we're going around this way. And
I think
It's
it would
like,
be-
hey, this is 50% off at Payless Shoes. By the way, we're invading Greece.
No, I think it would be more like a psychological warfare that they can manipulate, like with social media and stuff like that. Really
yeah.
get like the people
Oh.
turning. Like,
social dilemma. That's
I know a couple things off the top of my head right now.
Okay.
You like this?
Yeah.
This is just pure knowledge. You like that?
Stop
so
it.
anyway.
Stop it.
So, okay. Number one, I know in Vietnam, American troops used giant. I mean, again, I'm not going to know the specifics, but they used big speakers in the middle of the forest to play like haunting, like ghostly
yeah.
voices and music to scare away the Vietnamese or the Viet Cong or whatever, because they had that. I mean, I guess culturally, spirits and the dead is like very, you know what I'm saying? Like they like there's, the spirit of their parents or something like that, they're still walking around, so they start hearing this and it's like psychological warfare, right? Another one, and again, don't know the specifics, but I just know it was a war between the Persians and the Egyptians in like 600 BC or something like that. And the Persians, they were like, I think they were outnumbered by the Egyptians, and what they did to sway the battle is that, hold on, I'll explain in a second. They painted pictures of cats on their shields, And then they
Okay.
brought hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cats to the battle and like brought the cats onto the front line. Well, it turns out in Egyptian culture, the cat is like a godly animal.
Right, okay.
And it's punishable by death to kill a cat in Egyptian culture. So when they were charging with these hundreds of house cats, the archers didn't want to fire off their arrows and kill any cats because they know killing a cat was punishable with death, and it was like against like blasphemy in their religion. And the Persians won the battle.
You know what's crazy
Isn't
about
that crazy?
all that?
What a bunch of idiots.
I mean, if you would have spent a little bit more time like learning about all this stuff, we would have heard so many more stories like this.
So many.
So many.
We've already heard.
Well, you've already heard like 10.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of stories.
How much you want from me, Dan?
I want a little bit more.
The entire military history of the world.
I'm not even getting paid to do this.
Well, that was awesome though. Not
Okay,
gonna lie.
glad you like it. Military, crazy. I just also
Oh.
like the word tacticians. It's a
Wait,
cool word.
now
I like the
since
word
we're,
ne'er do well.
Since we're
Ne'er-do-well.
on that topic, do a quick callback to Chatting with the Buds and talk about bat bombs real quick.
Oh, sure, I can do that. Call back, chat with the buds, prior podcast. So anyway, we had an episode on unconventional warfare. You know, weapons that were never used or were used that were just like so out of the ordinary, just so extraordinary and bizarre. And one of them was the American bat bomb. And the bat bomb was it was a theoretical weapon that they were testing, that they had a big casing, big tube that had hundreds and hundreds of free-tailed Mexican bats on it, Mexican free-tailed bats on it, like real small bats. And they strapped each bat with a little bit of thermite or like an incendiary device. Not a lot of payload, but like just enough to make a spark. Well, the idea was that they were going to let these bombs go over Tokyo. And at the time, and it kind of still is, at the time, the architecture in Tokyo is mostly wood and paper. Like their walls are literally paper.
Yeah.
And so everything's like super flammable. They wanted to firebomb everything. So they were going to drop these bombs at dawn. And then when the bombs open up, the bats are like, hey, we need to go find a place to hang out. Like that. So, and then, they're going to go like, you know, sleep for the night or sleep for the day or whatever. Go hang upside down.
And where
roost
do
or whatever.
bats sleep?
I don't know, but they were
Attics.
right.
Chimneys.
Actually, exactly. So they were hoping the bats would
Trees.
fly
Trees.
to attics and small spaces and stuff, and then these bombs would go off, letting off just enough spark to cause big, giant, wild firestorms across Tokyo. And they were testing this, and they accidentally burned down their testing facility. So in essence, it worked, but they just never used it. So
I did not know that.
I just think about like the scientists or whatever getting it done, doing it. Like, did they think that it was actually going to work? Like, a guy would be like, so how do you think this is going to go? Like, I have no idea.
just kind of frame.
I'm
right
getting
now.
paid to put incendiary devices on bats. After that, it's out of my control.
So yeah, that was pretty interesting. And again, that episode kind of shows a lot of the insane things that military, you know.
You got to just think of whatever in order to defeat the enemy.
I mean, anything goes in war, except anything on the Geneva Convention.
Yeah.
Well,
like
also, isn't it-
biological.
Yeah, I was about to
and
say, like-
chemical. I didn't even know for a long time that you can't use hollow point bullets.
Really?
That's in the Geneva Convention. Yeah.
Wait, what's a hollow point bullet? Is that the one that spreads out as soon as it's
Yeah,
inside you?
Yeah.
so
when
you'll
it
have
makes
like a full
contact.
metal jacket. It's just like a dome,
Mm-hmm.
and then hollow point. Think of the top of the dome taken out and dipped down, and then it'll go, and when it hits, it mushrooms and splinters and everything, and it causes more damage.
Oh, and also you can't control the weather.
Right.
Wait, is that like one thing they said?
That is one you can't.
Like, you're not allowed to.
The Geneva Convention states you cannot use weapons that control the weather.
Yeah,
Which is
and-
kind of interesting because I mean I'm sure there's
It's like torture, and then there's
Yeah.
there's certain ways that prisoners of war have to be treated. And
you can't
things like
you
that.
can't fire upon any soldier or any boat or any vehicle that has the Red Cross on
Yeah.
it.
Right.
For
Okay.
medics and stuff.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like you can't shoot medical staff or whatever.
So was that created before or after World War II?
That was before World War II.
Yeah,
Pretty sure. Yeah.
probably
Okay.
after World War One. I
I think
assume
it was after World War One.
because of mustard gas.
Yeah.
Probably one thing that really sparked it. And it's kind of funny how like you think about war, all this violence and killing and whatnot, but we got rules.
Yeah, there's rules to
You
war.
know,
We got rules here. Okay.
We got rules. Okay, we're just we're not barbarians. All right. Now, of course, that being said, there are a lot of countries and people out there who have broken rules, and that's where you get the word war crimes, right?
Okay.
So
I didn't know that.
yeah, so they'll, that's the thing.
Okay, so the Geneva Convention usually denotes the agreements of 1949 negotiated in the aftermath
After.
of Second World War, which updated the terms of two 1929 treaties and added 2 new conventions.
Do you?
So it started after World War One, but it was all, I guess, ratified. I guess you could say after World War II.
Trivia: where's Geneva?
I don't know. I have no idea. Is that a country?
It's in Switzerland, right?
Switzerland. Yeah.
It's a
Anyway,
city.
go ahead.
So it's a city.
Yeah.
Did y'all know?
Did y'all know? Anyway, you're gonna say something, Dan?
Yeah, I was gonna say. Do our military still use like the Red Cross? Like, are there still units and infantrymen, not infantrymen, but like people that like wear the cross?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I would think. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
Sam? Right? I don't know.
You guys are supposed to know everything.
well, we don't know everything.
We know most things.
We know we know most things, not everything.
Okay.
But I mean, I do know that being paramedics, it is actually interesting that the way that they treat their soldiers in the field is vastly different the way we would treat like a citizen. Like military medicine.
Like you just say, suck it up?
No, they use other just.
They have there's a lot more stuff they do.
Yeah, and without getting into
They're
like
almost
the real,
doctors.
Yeah, without getting like the nitty gritty.
Really?
They do some pretty crazy stuff we probably wouldn't be dealing with.
Hmm.
Like certain medications that are very like high risk medications and procedures that are high risk because they're in the middle.
The majority
Right,
of
yeah,
the
combat,
majority of the things that we do, it's just because it's been tested and used in the military. Yeah.
Have you guys ever had to put on a tourniquet, or is that like still a thing?
Oh yeah.
Tourniquets?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Actually, when I first became a paramedic, it was like to stop bleeding, it was like apply pressure, and then it was like elevate it, and then it was apply more pressure, and then it was apply more bandages, and then like way down at the bottom it was apply a tourniquet. Well, now it's apply pressure, and then it's apply a tourniquet.
Really?
Yeah, they like
Immediately.
jumped up big time.
You get that thing on there, dude.
Usually, like, and I say like this was not very long ago, but yeah, it was like, oh man, we got to avoid putting a tourniquet on, and now it's go right to it. It's like before elevate it,
I feel like you should go right to a tourniquet. Like,
That's what
stop
everybody
the
else
bleeding.
feels now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like they thought.
Congratulations, you're now a doctor.
It was like they thought
Dr.
that
Dan.
it was one of those things like a tourniquet is the last thing you want to do because it can actually cause damage. Now they know it doesn't cause damage.
And Wes and I know how to apply a tourniquet to ourselves with one arm, one hand, to our leg at least. We did a active shooter exercise. Maybe you didn't go to that. I don't know, but we did an active.
I went to the one in the old school.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We went to an old abandoned school. Man, active shooter exercise.
Really?
With like a bunch of cops. It was like joint operations, and it was like the cops and it was the firemen, and we got to wear like, bulletproof vests and like ballistic helmets and things like that, and we actually had to learn how to like put tourniquets on for ourselves if we were unable to use one leg or unable to use one arm, and then we had to figure out like how to enter rooms and clear rooms and stuff sort of thing and drag people out of combat, and it was actually really cool. I hope I never use it, but it was pretty cool.
Sure.
Yeah, it was like last ditch effort stuff, like worst case scenario things, because we would never be in those situations unless it's just total chaos. But speaking of chaos, are y'all ready to take this break and then get back to the chaos? I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take a break.
What?
You're good. Okay, you're good to go.
Okay, good to go.
Bring us back.
Bring it back.
Are you going to bring us back right now?
I'm going to bring us back, and I'm guessing we're already back.
We're back, baby. We are back.
All right. Hopefully,
I was still just waiting to start.
hopefully you enjoyed that break as much as us. I mean, we really didn't do anything bathroom break, but so I guess we enjoyed it. But Dan, I have a burning question.
Okay.
What in the world do you do for a living? I know it's transportation, but that's quite broad.
It's a
Like,
very general.
Are you a train engine conductor.
It's like when someone says they do sales.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like-
I also do sales.
Because
well, perfect.
I sell transportation.
me and like
sell transportation. Could be an Uber driver for all we know.
You know, funny thing about that, whenever I first was trying to, whenever I first was talking to who is now my ex, I told her, I was like, oh yeah, JP, my roommate, he's in commercial real estate and I'm in transportation. And they immediately thought I was an Uber driver.
Really?
that's what they jumped to.
That's what they jumped to.
Well, I mean,
transportation,
yeah,
Uber driver.
I mean, I don't know. Do you pave roads? Are you? I mean, transportation is so broad.
All right, go ahead. What company do you work for?
So I work for the company JB Hunt Transportation, and they are a Fortune 500 company.
JB Hunt. I see a lot of trucks.
See a lot of the trucks on the road.
See a lot of trucks.
Okay.
And so JB Hunt started around 60 years ago by a guy named Johnny
JB Hunt.
Bryant Hunt.
Okay.
And so Mr. JB,
Is that why it's called JB Hunt?
that's why it's called JB Hunt. There you go. You're
cool.
catching on.
Boy,
Man, did you go to business school?
you got it.
Right. No.
He started out with his own truck, and I'm pretty sure what happened is that he was actually trying to move live chickens as part of, like, you know, just trying to get his start in the world. So he was moving like chickens for people, and then obviously his company grew to the point where it's a $10 billion company now.
I see. Are you still just moving chickens?
So no, we do
Okay.
a lot more than chickens now.
Okay.
We actually have our hands in quite a bit of product. A lot of retailers, a lot of the big named retailers, they use us, but then also we are now getting into small and mid-sized businesses now, and that's what I kind of focus on. That's why they brought me in, and
They said, "Get me Dan Rael."
yeah,
You come
and-
kicking the door in
yeah.
You're
so,
coming to work for us.
with your thermos.
so after
With
I
your thermos.
after I graduated college with supply chain management and marketing, I knew
University of Arkansas Razorbacks.
Woo pig, and
Woo pig.
all I knew what I wanted to do is go out and learn sales, and JB Hunt gave me that opportunity. I applied to maybe like 50, 60 different companies. Out of those, I only got like maybe 5-10 callbacks, and from those I actually got hired on with the best transportation company that there is to offer. That's, I mean, my humble opinion.
I was about to say, are you having to say that because you're afraid they might be listening?
No, if they listen, like, I am completely open and honest about my relationship with JB Hunt and the company JB Hunt.
Personally,
Personally.
JB Hunt.
And so, what do I do?
I don't like the way he keeps winking at me.
What do you do?
I am calling up shippers. So there's two sides to transportation, right? There are the carriers, which JB Hunt falls under, and there are people that have product they need to move.
The carries.
Yeah, sure. Carriers.
The carries.
Carries.
Anyways, the shipper side is what I currently work on. I am talking to shippers that need to move their product. So let me ask you guys, if you are a person that came out with a new product, let's say you guys just built a really awesome table and you're just like, hey, we can build more of these tables and we can move them. Your first thought is, let's go buy it. Your first thought isn't, let's go buy a truck so then we can move these products. It's, how do I get this product moving the cheapest way possible? Because that's just a cost that you have to incur in order to get your product to your customer. So you build up 100 tables, right? You have all these tables and you're just like, okay, now I got to find someone to buy these tables. And that someone isn't going to necessarily be like me, unless I own a company that is trying to sell furniture to a consumer. So you guys can either go online and try to sell it to me, myself, or you can sell it off to some other big name person that has like a warehouse that can store the tables, that has more connections to the consumers themselves. So right now, at that point, you're thinking like, okay, I can sell off all this product to a big name guy at a wholesale cost. And if I do that, then I get rid of all these tables, giving me more room to build more tables. So I'm going to do that instead of trying to sell off like all these tables all at one, like all throughout like a period of months to just random people on the internet. So trucking is essentially moving large quantities of a single given product. So what's your next move? If you're not going to buy a truck, how are you going to get that stuff moving?
You got to get a truck company.
You got to get a truck company. You got to get called.
JB Hunt.
JB Hunt.
Get me Dan.
Right, Dan. They call me Dan the Transportation Man.
There we go.
Yep,
Works out.
So
Is that
you're-
on your business card?
It's great.
it's on some of my signatures on my email.
Nice.
So you call up what's called a broker. Do you guys know what a broker is? Like whether or not it's an investment or if
It's
it's
someone
in
who's
transportation.
it's someone who's more broke than the guy next to him. The
Yeah.
broker.
Got him. Got him.
Right
Yeah.
off the top of the
Got him.
Yeah.
It's someone who takes care of some of your interests for you.
Sure, it's a
It's
a layman's
man
terms
who
of
does
putting it.
things for you.
You are a broker is a middleman, right?
You're a
boom.
middleman.
So,
So-
yeah, there we go. That's what I meant to say.
In investments and in the financial world, a broker would be someone that you go to in order to like buy your stocks, right? So it's like you go to your broker and you say, "Hey,
Fidelity.
Fidelity, Ameritrade. I want to go and I want to purchase all these different like ETFs or stocks or things, and in return, whatever money I make, Fidelity can take a cut of that." Right? Because they're the
correct.
ones that
Yeah.
initiated that transaction. They have the contacts on this side. You're over here. They're in the middle. Right? So it's a middleman.
And the market is going wild right now. Let's just be honest.
It
Crazy.
is. It
Absolutely.
Invest.
Stonks.
Why are
Stonks.
just invest.
Just invest
invest.
into something. I don't care what it
Invest.
is. Just do something. Whatever.
So I'm part of what is called brokerage, or we call it over at JB Hunt ICS, which is Integrated Capacity Solutions. So JB Hunt only has a certain number of assets. Do you guys know what I mean whenever I say assets?
Stuff.
Stuff, things, trucks, containers. We only have a certain number of things that have our logo that says JB Hunt Transportation on it.
Okay.
So what JB Hunt did about 8 years ago is created their ICS side, or their AKA brokerage side. And what the brokerage did is it opened up our network to thousands and thousands of more carriers.
Of like, are these like private truckers?
These can be
Or-
any sort of person with a truck that moves, right?
Okay, so I can buy a truck and I can work with JB Hunt
Yes.
and
Huh.
Yes. So those are your independent mom
Dan,
and
I got a
pops.
truck.
I mean, honestly, if you put a trailer on the back of that, you can actually work within the areas that I'm speaking about.
We'll talk
To me.
later.
Yeah. Okay. So anyways,
I have a Honda Civic. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. I have a Jeep Renegade, but that won't be able to tow anything else.
a trucker needs what's called a CDL, which is
Correct.
which is the license you need in order to drive a big rig,
Mm-hmm.
something that's pulling heavy weight. And so we created this technology that allows us to put all of these different mom and pops and other truckers, other carriers onto a website that also speaks to what we call Shipper 360, which is you guys who are making the tables. So now we have both sides of the market. We are creating what's called a digital freight marketplace. And that marketplace, just like Amazon is a marketplace. Amazon is connecting a person that builds something to a consumer that wants that thing. We are doing the exact same thing, just on a different scale. We are doing it with more product that is not necessarily available for consumers until it gets to its next destination. That's part of the supply chain process.
Now, do other transportation companies do this?
So there are other ones that are trying to work with that technology. Let's take Uber for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Uber recently created what's called Uber Freight, which is essentially
Oh, really?
a digital freight marketplace, just like what we're doing. So Uber hasn't been in the trucking industry for as long as JB Hunt,
Right.
but they are in the
They've been
they're
in the driving drunks home marketplace.
sure. They've been in the transportation in that sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
In like consumers and everything. but they also have the technology, right? So that's the way that they're going at this angle. We're going at it with our knowledge and understanding of transportation itself, and then we're also adding in the technology at that point in time as well. So
Uber's just trying stuff.
Uber is trying stuff now.
They're actually producing COVID vaccines right now.
Yeah, just trying like the thing that we watched, the 20 worst, the biggest tech flops.
Oh yeah.
And it was like of the 20, I think 9 of them were Apple.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just
it's
just
trying
you're
stuff.
just trying stuff.
Yeah, Uber's
absolutely.
in a lab right now. I'm like, okay, a little bit of ketchup. Let's get some soy sauce in here. Maybe a little saline water. Boom, vaccine.
So yeah, Uber is one of our competitors.
That's what the
or
vaccine
Uber,
is.
Yeah.
Soy sauce and ketchup.
Who would have thought?
How do you know?
Lord.
So yeah, Uber is one of our competitors at this point because of Uber Freight. Now, do you guys?
Let me ask you something on the Uber thing.
Okay.
Is Uber, are they doing it kind of like how Favor? I don't even know if Favor is still around.
It
but
is.
like how Favor is of, I need this couch moved like to a certain spot and I'm selling it. I'm selling this couch to someone. Come pick up the couch and move.
You can do that on Favor?
Yeah.
I thought Favor was just like, hey, can you pick me up a Mountain Dew from Quick Trip and bring it to me?
Favor is, because I almost did Favor.
Really?
But,
I didn't know that.
I didn't know you can do. No, I thought it was just. I thought
Favor is like
as well.
Favor is like, it's like do me a favor. Go get me a Mountain Dew.
So I can be like, hey,
go.
can you cash this check for me? Which
I mean,
wouldn't be a smart thing to do.
I
but
think so, but
you
it's a lot of like, and I've never even used Favor, but I almost did Favor. But yeah, it was like this is my grocery list for Walmart, and then I think there was stuff like that of I need this moved over there or whatever, and then almost like some of them it was like being a courier, these documents need to be taken.
Can you
taken
drive
down.
me to Los Angeles?
I don't think they did like Uber stuff, like giving rides. I don't think. I mean, maybe they did, but
There's nothing you can do about anything.
but yeah.
I need a foot massage.
Anyway,
I got a question, or I guess I got one of those trivia things that we always do.
Nice.
Do you guys know how much of the U.S. like goods and trades moves on trucks? Like out of all the transportation that the U.S. like uses, how much of it is moved on trucks?
I'm gonna say.
Let's say 87%.
I was gonna say 75%.
Wes is closer. It is 80%.
Boom.
80%.
Idiot.
Dang.
Now, there's some interesting things that I could go on like a couple different tangents. I'm going to go on this one though. So technology, right? Technology is obviously it's everywhere. And we're hearing about electric vehicles, autonomous vehicles, things that are going to help not only the transportation industry, consumers out, but also the transportation industry. Now, one of those things is going to be autonomous trucks, right? Trucks that are just doing its own thing. Maybe there's a driver in there for now that is just sitting back and relaxing. But for the most part, what you will start seeing in the future, I don't know how long, whether it's 5 or 10 years.
That was going to be my next question.
It's going to be very fast. It's going to be like before 2030, I guarantee that there is going to be... Before 2030.
We now have audio record of Dan's Nostradamus.
Well, we
prediction.
are exceeding exponentially with our technology right now. It is crazy. Like if you just look at the graphs, you could just tell everything is speeding up whenever it comes to technology.
Does JB Hunt currently have like a department for autonomous trucks?
We have like C-level people, like corporate level people who are involved in that stuff, but it's not autonomous right now. It's only electric, right? So we work on the electric trucks first, and then eventually we get to autonomous trucks. Now there are companies out there who are making those electric trucks, which will also heavily focus on making autonomous trucks. Now they don't work in the transportation industry as we do. They just make the trucks.
And then so like Tesla is probably the only one.
Oh no, there's like also Nikola.
Have you ever read up on Nikola?
I've read a little bit. Be
careful.
I know
It's a sham.
Yeah, it's a bad thing, right?
Yeah, it's a sham. So we can't even count them.
But there's also other companies that are competing with Tesla on
Like
the same
who,
scale.
Dan? I need names.
I don't have the name of the company that's working
Is like
against
Peterbilt or
No,
like
I'm sure Peterbilt will be getting in the game.
or anything.
I'm sure they will be getting
You would
in the
think
game.
they would have to, right?
They have to start advancing what they're making in order to stay with the competition.
Yeah.
But even Tesla is having a hard time building
For the
these
trucks.
electric trucks. You
Is
know,
it just for the power?
it's yeah,
Towing
the power,
capacity and
the
everything?
cost. We do as a company, JB Hunt, we do have in fact some electric trucks already, and they're out in California. They're mostly for these short hauls, but what you're going to see, like I was saying, is autonomous long haul trucking. What is that?
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly what it sounds like. You are going to be driving down the interstate in the middle of nowhere, and you're going to see a truck that is moving completely on its
Like
own.
it doesn't even
No
have a
driver.
windshield.
Yep. And what's going to happen is you're going to start seeing this hub and spoke system going on. And do you guys know what I mean by hub and spoke?
I guess. I mean, I know what a hub and spoke is, but I guess.
Okay,
maybe
what is a hub and spoke?
It's like the spoke on a wheel in
Something
the
to do
hub.
with
Right.
wheel
So
tire.
there's a center point,
Uh-huh.
and then there's also all these spokes going out, right?
So you're gonna have like a central location
You're
where these
gonna-
all get sent out.
Mm-hmm. You're going to have a central location where all this gets sent out, and on the road, you're going to see an autonomous truck going on that spoke. And once that spoke gets to another hub, then a driver will eventually take over that's within that region of that hub. They will take over and they will deliver it the rest of the way.
So it's like you're not going to see, because I was just about to ask.
They're not
and
gonna
it-
pull up right to the business.
They're not
Right.
going to pull up
So
right
that's
to,
what
not
that's what
yet.
that's what I was going to ask, and or say rather, present the question of autonomous trucks, like backing into stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would think,
Takes a special person to back up a trailer.
yeah, like that's a skill. You
Yeah,
know,
it is a skill.
The question
Absolutely.
is how does this make JB Hunt more money by going into the autonomous long hauling?
not getting left
Fields.
behind.
So we are making money through a couple different modes and divisions right now. One, some of the divisions that we have is DCS, which is dedicated contracted services. That's essentially Amazon coming to us and saying, "Hey, we need your guys like logistic services, and we also don't want to share our trucks. So we are going to let you handle all of the logistics for, Dallas to Houston, all that long hauling for us. And we are going to pay you like big bucks in order to kind of manage that for us. And we will say, okay, we will use our own trucks, our own drivers. You just tell us what we need to pick up and where it needs to go." And they give us
Jeez, Sam,
Sorry.
watch where your hand's going.
hundreds and hundreds of loads. So that's one division. Another division is called intermodal. Do you guys know what intermodal is?
I do know what intermodal is.
What is intermodal?
Well, the only thing I know it from is from hazmat school, hazmat class in the fire department. It has something to do with is it like smaller containers or like stackable containers or something.
It's containers. It's
But
containers.
what's okay? I guess I don't know exactly.
He doesn't know what it is.
So intermodal, all intermodal means is you're using like multiple modes in order to move something.
That was what I
So-
said.
That's not what you said at all.
So intermodal is another thing that makes JB Hunt what they are today. And
Trains,
what
planes,
exactly? No,
automobiles.
trains. You said it.
That's
you said
what I
it
meant.
first.
You can. I
We
said
are
multiple
moving on.
forms of.
we are picking up a container from like where we're going to go, and we're going to pick up some product on our container, and then we're going to bring that container to the rail. And we don't own the rail. We hire other companies such as BNSF in order to move that product. So we tell BNSF, "Hey, let's get in a contract together, and you're going to move our container for us on the rail, and then at the end of wherever it's going, we're going to pick it up again with one of our guys, and we're going to deliver it the rest of the way." That's intermodal. Now, JB Hunt, what's cool about them is they have over 90,000 of these intermodal containers, and our competition owns like maybe half of that. Like in total, the next best competitor out there owns like half of that 90,000. So like 45,000 containers.
The logistics of the world is just mind blowing. Like you see a truck driving down the street and you don't even think about it.
You
You're
don't
just
even
like,
you don't even know
you
what's
just-
going on under the surface.
You just think like there was a place that needed stuff taken to another place. They call up a guy. They say, take this stuff to that place. We'll give you money for it. And then they do it and it's done. But it's not that simple.
It's really
never
not. It's
never that simple.
it's logistics. I mean,
I do love
start
the
of-
word logistics.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool word. Now,
Cool word.
a couple of things that I move right now. I'm not going to name like the companies, but I will just tell you the products. So one of these products,
iPhones.
no, yeah, no, one of these products is
What company?
it's they're actually not. I don't think they're my customer anymore, but we worked with them last year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was it happens. It's a stroller that converts from being in a car seat automatically into a stroller. Like you don't have to take out like a baby and take it out of the car seat and put it in a
You
stroller.
just pop the wheels down.
You just
Might
pop
be
the wheels
something
down.
you should look into.
Yeah, it's cool. Another one is egg cartons, and that's like my number one customer actually. Egg cartons.
Egg cartons.
So many egg cartons.
I can't understand how eggs are profitable because you can buy 18 of them for like $1.50.
Do you know how many eggs chickens make?
Well, I think it's also like it's just quantity.
I know,
People
but
just
it's
sell,
like
people sell. I mean, can you imagine how many eggs are so? All right, trivia. Continue.
So anyways, I move loads and loads of egg cartons like from Canada to the East Coast.
Do the cartons have eggs in
No,
them?
West Coast. Huh? No, they don't.
So they're
It's-
just the cartons.
It's the cartons start. It's like the start of the supply chain at that point where it's like, okay, we got to move these egg cartons to the person that's going to be packing the eggs so then they can eventually go out to the grocery stores. So it's like the start of that supply chain.
gosh.
Yeah.
I always thought that the egg companies just put them in the cartons.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Those cartons got to get there somehow.
The world is so complicated, Dan.
It's complicated but interesting.
It is interesting. Like I said, you don't like. There's so many things we see in the world, and we just see them and don't even think about them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think about like. I always thought that Amazon just used their own trucks.
They have their own trucks, but also they move so much product that they need what's called a 3PL, which is third-party logistics.
Okay, I can't get you the exact number, but I will tell you that over 1 trillion eggs are produced every year.
Wow.
In the world.
Yes, over 1 trillion.
Now let me ask you this: tell me where the nearest chicken farm is.
Kansas.
I don't know. I don't know where it is.
Oh, I gotta look it up.
No, I'm just saying like we make all those eggs, and you can't even tell me where a single chicken farm is.
I could tell you one of the big
Well,
chicken producers. They're in Arkansas.
Tyson.
Tyson.
Chicken,
There's
chicken
know.
and non-chickens.
Chickens and non-chickens.
Chickens and not yet chickens.
I would say like the big three that came out of Arkansas were Tyson, JB Hunt,
And Walmart.
and Walmart.
Walmart's a pretty big one.
And Walmart's number one
Pretty big.
in the world.
Walmart.
Who would
is
have thought?
very
Arkansas.
big. Arkansas. The the hub of industry.
Right. So
Well, and anyway,
So that's what
Yeah,
Dan does for
that's
a
what you
living.
do.
Everybody knew what we did. I
Yeah.
didn't even know what Dan
that's
did. I just
very
knew it was
interesting, and there's a lot of layers to it.
there are.
It's like it's like a 7-layer bean dip.
I scratched the surface, guys, and I'm not gonna kind of go on any much longer, just because I don't
Okay,
wanna,
good.
I don't want to bore you.
Just kidding.
No, I liked it.
I know. I thought it was very interesting.
But I do.
I could never do. I'd get so confused.
I do a lot of cold calling. I do a lot of cold emails, and my role is business development representative. I'm a senior BDR.
Senior,
Senior BDR.
Senior.
moving up the ranks.
I'm moving up the ranks. Yeah.
Sorry, what's the next rank? Like corporal?
Manager, senior
Manager?
no, business development manager.
Are you going?
Business
Are you going
development-
for it?
Yeah. I mean, I'll work my way there. I'm working on it.
Pretty
Yeah.
pretty
you guys
bold,
wanna-
pretty bold statement.
Would you guys want to take a guess about my sales just about like, how much sales I pull
How
in a
much
year
sales?
right now.
How much sales you do?
What, a year?
In a year.
year?
Yeah.
1.2 million.
I'm gonna say.
And hold on, do you get commission?
I do.
Okay, I'm gonna bring it down a little bit then,
Well, you don't. What? Oh, that's true.
because I'm sure you make plenty of money, but you're driving a Ferrari to the podcast. So it's like,
I'm gonna say. Yeah, it's true. If he does make commission, that does change things. I'm gonna say.
Can you tell us your percentage or commission?
I cannot.
Okay.
No, that's a personal question.
What? He told us to guess.
But not what his commission is and how much he makes.
Okay, I'm gonna say 400,000. No, I'm gonna say 500,000.
Does the majority of your pay come from commission?
No.
Okay.
The majority of my pay comes from my base.
Okay, so
Okay,
majority.
I'm gonna go.
You don't get to change your answer 3 times.
That was good information. I needed that.
You
Now I'm gonna
didn't
say
ask
500,000.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna.
You
say,
only raised it 100,000 at
I'm gonna
that
say.
point.
I'm gonna
I didn't
say.
change it at all.
I'm gonna say 650.
650,000.
Uh-huh.
Around $2.5 million.
Oh my
Jeez,
God.
that's a low percentage commission.
Sure, absolutely. But yeah, regardless, they do take good care of their employees. I'm gonna say that right out. That's why I'm still there. I like the people that I work with. In terms of making large mass quantities of money at any given time, I don't do that. But at the same time, I enjoy what I'm doing for a living right now.
It's good.
And I'm working on my sales. So that's why I wanted to go there. If I'm working for a transportation company, like I'm working for the top transportation company, like that there is to offer. Now,
Yeah.
obviously that comes with like reduced prices or reduced like salaries. But at the same time, like I'm learning what I need to learn in order to be successful in the future.
Right.
So that's how I'm thinking about it. That's my mentality. Just learn as much as I can. And then eventually, if I go out and do my own thing, I will have all of these skills and assets that I built up over time working for someone that cares about me.
Got that resume. Handled $2.5 million worth of sales.
Boom.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. My
got
next
it.
goal would be like 5 million, I think. So just working
And you
my
know
way
what?
up.
We're gonna get you there, and
Oh,
I'm gonna make
sure.
sure it happens. I don't know how, but
Start building tables.
and then maybe just texting you every day.
Hey, you
Get after it.
you can do it, bud.
Yeah, you 5 million. Good
That's
night.
That's fine. I put it on mute, and I
You
don't
did
know
not?
why.
Gosh.
You did not. Tell your mom you're call her back in a minute.
Well, for that was great.
Yep.
That's awesome. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad we know what Dan does now because we had no clue.
No clue.
No clue.
Transportation. That was it.
Transportation. Dan, the transportation man.
That's
All right. What time we at right now?
We're at an hour and 2 minutes, so we are just now kind of starting to wrap it up.
That sounds pretty good.
All right.
Hour 2. You kidding me?
So
Perfect.
What
That's
kind
perfect.
of competition you got this time?
Give me a second.
You ready for this?
Give me a second. I gotta think. Okay. In my hand, there are 5 fingers. You
Correct. I win.
You take a guess on what finger I'm holding up right now.
Ring finger.
Middle finger, obviously.
It was my index. You both are wrong. And thank
I
you
was-
so much for joining us on today's episode of Did Y'all Know? I'm Dan.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Wes.
And y'all have an excellent rest of your day, night, mid-afternoon, or whenever you're listening to this podcast. Goodbye.
Peace
Bye.
out.